All right, guys. So today we're going to get into this continued insanity that is Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall and that potential fight. Um, Jon Jones basically said he's retired, right? In this clip. So we're going to play this clip, about 10 seconds of it. That's when he went on the Full Send podcast for 20 or so minutes and, spent most of his time dodging the whole Tom Aspinall thing and basically said Tom, hasn't earned anything, hasn't earned basically the right to fight him, doesn't excite him. The usual shit we hear from Jon Jones, right? He hasn't done enough. He's not exciting enough, things like that. So we're going to play this clip. We're going to get into it because it's honestly, it's insanity at this point why this man has not been stripped of the belt, why we haven't set up the, like a vacant title fight. We'll also get into like vacant title fight because I do have something in mind there. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's play this clip from Jon Jones.
So what's next for you? Like, are you officially retired? Or like,
Good question.
everyone's wondering, is Jon Jones retired? Is he fighting again?
I don't want to say that I'm retired because fighting is in my blood. Right now, I could really care less about fighting. I've been doing it my.
I mean, come on, really? Like this man basically is announcing his retirement. I could barely care less. I could barely care less. I mean, this is insane from the UFC. Like, I'm really starting to feed in. I'm really starting to feed into the fact that the UFC, Jon might have some blackmail on Dana White. I know that's been kind of a popular thing. I know Kevin Iole asked him at one of the press conferences, does he have some on you? Of course Dana dodged that. I'm really starting to feed into that narrative, right? Like, because this is insane. We've never seen anything like this throughout the UFC history, right? People who don't defend and who take too much time get stripped. Conor McGregor, the biggest star in the sport, after he fought Floyd, he still had the belt. They stripped him because of inactivity, right? That's how Khabib got to fight Al Iaquinta for the vacant belt. That was Conor McGregor, the biggest star the sport has ever seen. Even with Conor like moving up to lightweight, they still made him vacate the featherweight belt. That's when I believe Jose Aldo fought Frankie Edgar for the vacant featherweight title after that, right? You look at Islam. Islam stated he would love to come back to lightweight if he wins the welterweight belt against Jack Della Maddalena. Announces he's going to move up to welterweight, fight JDM for double champ status, gets stripped right after. Ilia Tuporia says he's moving to lightweight, gets stripped right after. Meanwhile, Jon Jones has fought 2 times in the last 2 years at heavyweight. Obviously it's like they let Stipe skip ahead of Tom Aspinall, for that belt, for this shot at the title against Jon Jones for a legacy fight, even though the guy was like 67,000 years old. And it's just like we all were like, all right, well, whatever. Let's get this over and let's have Jon versus Tom, right? Let's set up that super fight. Because, I mean, at this point, it is a super fight. And it's like that fight with Stipe was 8 months ago. For God's sakes, Tom Aspinall has been the interim champ for almost a year now. Next month in July, it'll be a year. Or no. He's been interim champ, I'm sorry, for over a year now. It was in November of, I'm trying to think, 2024? No, 2023 that he won it over Sergey Pavlovich with a knockout, right? He's since defended it. It has been almost a fucking year since Tom Aspinall has defended the interim belt. We don't have any talk of a fight between him and Jon. A lot of people were thinking Madison Square Garden November, potentially December, end of the year, And now it's like, we heard it from Jon Jones himself. I just have no interest right now in fighting. What is happening? What's happening? What are we doing here? Like, this is crazy. Like, the blackmail conspiracies are real here. Because, like, I'm just wondering where the logic is with Dana White and the UFC here. Like, you strip all these other guys who are active champions. I mean, Islam, that's arguable, but still, like, these are champions who are willing to fight anybody, anytime, right? Like, and these guys got stripped when they moved up and were inactive. Even Conor, like, it's the blackmail here must be legendary for Jon Jones. It just doesn't make sense. I just don't get it. Like, how do you not strip him after this, especially after this? Like, I'm dying to hear what the conversation is now between, you know, the UFC brass. Like, this guy doesn't want to fight. There's no mention of a fight. It's been a fucking year since Tom has defended, not won, defended the interim title. It's like, it's time to move on. Let's forget about Jon. Whatever, Jon will go in the Hall of Fame despite some of the roid stuff, whatever. You know, say what you will. He is one of the greatest to ever do it. Kind of a checkered past, but whatever. You know, whatever. Give him his flowers. Move the fuck on. Let's go. So, I'm sitting here thinking about the potential fight here to unify that title, right? Obviously, you got Tom here. Look, man, honestly, I know it's a lot of people wouldn't want to hear this, but and I don't necessarily think he's deserving whatsoever, but let's run Cyril Gahn. And the reason I say that is because I'm so fucking tired of these Jon fans saying, well, what has Tom done? Tom hasn't earned anything. He needs to beat Cyril Gahn, a real contender. So let's run it. Let's run Tom, Cyril Gahn. He can smash Cyril Gahn and then go on a long reign as heavyweight champion, right? Set the fight up. You know, Cyril Gahn obviously is coming off a very, very, let's be honest, a robbery over Alexander Volkov, right? Unfortunately for Volkov, he's already been submitted by Tom. I think it was in like 2-3 minutes. Tom submitted him with a Kimura, took him down, and just, that was it, right? That was all she wrote. He's looked very good since then. He's very deserving. I definitely think a guy like that eventually will fight Tom again for that belt. But right now, let's run Cyril Gahn. Let's shut the Jon Jones fans the fuck up. And let's, I don't know why Cyril Gahn always gets mentioned, because the guy is like, I mean, he's coming off of a robbery of Alexander Volkov. Before then, he's beating guys that aren't even top 5. He's fought for a belt undeservedly against Jon Jones. You know, he lost to Francis. Close fight, but whatever. You know, the guy takes a year off, comes back, wins one fight, fights for the belt. So, you know what? Let's do it again. Let's give him an undeserved title shot and watch him get smashed to shut these Jon... Well, these Jon fans are never going to shut up because they're always going to say, well, Jon's the real champion, so whatever. In a dream world, that fight happens and Tom goes in there and beats Jon. But, you know, let's run Cyril Gahn, right? Let's run Cyril Gahn. If not Cyril Gahn, I mean, look, Tom, looking at the rankings here, Tom's beat Volkov. He's knocked out Sergey Pavlovich. He's knocked out Curtis Blades. And I don't know, Jailton Almeida is a stretch for me. Because, you know, obviously he got knocked out by Curtis Blades. I know he had a good rebound against Spivak. He's looked good since then. He's more exciting now. He's not just holding guys down, you know, hugging on them for 25 minutes like Derek Lewis. So let's set this up. We need to set this up. We need to move the fuck on from Jones. What the hell are we doing? Line up the fight. Let's get it. Let's give Cyril Gahn an undeserved title shot. Get the contract signed. Let's unify the belt and move the fuck on with life. Like, the man has essentially said he's retired. He said he's retired, essentially. Obviously, he's still playing games, but that to me is retirement language. You need to move on, right? People have been stripped for far less than that, right? This guy's been jerking us around for fucking years now. Doesn't have a legitimate... I don't think he has any really solid, legitimate title defenses in that division. Cyril Gahn even, I don't know, man. The guy doesn't have any wrestling whatsoever. He's dynamic on the feet. He has no wrestling. So, let's be honest. Does Jon even have a legitimate win in the heavyweight division? I don't know. Let's move on. Strip Jon Jones. Line that fight up. Let's go. What the hell are we doing? What are we doing? Like, it's crazy. Like, the blackmail must be real here. Like, there's got to be a documentary that comes out years from now where some inside information gets leaked and we figure out what the hell is going on here with Jon Jones in the UFC. Like, this man has been nothing but a thorn in their side for most of his career. He's gotten so many events canceled. He got UFC 200 canceled because he popped like the day before. It was supposed to be him versus DC. That was a heated matchup. Bitter rivalry. He got that canceled. He got the card, I mean, you know, arguable. He got that card where he's supposed to fight Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson pulled out with like 8 days or 10 days notice. Chael Sonnen was like ready to step in. John's like, no. They had to cancel the whole event. They had to cancel the whole event because of John, because of his unwillingness to take a fight on short notice. You know, all the suspensions, all the the multiple canceled events, and it's like Dana still is just big up in this guy. Any chance he gets, won't ever say anything bad about Jon Jones. You know, and I made a video about Demetrius Johnson and how much shit he talked about him when DJ was in the UFC, but John can do all this shit. And, what does Dana do? Nothing. He just keeps big up in him. It's... Whew. I can't wait for that documentary years later, I hope there's a rat in the UFC camp who releases just this insanity and why the fuck that they have not stripped Jones. Like, there's got to be something dark behind the scenes here. There just has to be at this point. Like, it makes no sense. So, I just wanted to get on here, give a little rant about how insane this is, how unprecedented this is. And it's like, come on, like, what are we doing here? Like, every fighter in the UFC needs to be like, what the fuck? Like, all those guys that have been stripped need to, like, chime in, like, Islam, Ilya, like, these guys need to be like, dude, I got stripped for just saying I was going to move up in weight. I got stripped of the belt. Meanwhile, this guy can fight, like, once every 2 years and just ride off into the sunset and hang out with the lady boys in Thailand on the back of their mopeds, filling up their hair and living a good old life. Like, we're not arguing that you've earned the right to just ride off into the fucking sunset, dude, but, you're holding up the strap. You're being petty on purpose because you're a narcissistic fuck. You're being petty. You're wasting Tom's prime career just because you're a petty narcissistic fuck. That's just all there is to it. And now your language is fucked up as champion, right? You're saying, oh, I don't want to say I'm retired, but I just have no interest right now. No interest. Imagine if another champion in the division said that right now. Dana would be on the phone with him like, you need to fight or you're going to get stripped. That's the rules here, man. We don't play that shit. So, yeah, it's the thing. This whole thing is just will always be mind-boggling to me. Looking back on this years later, will always be mind-boggling to me because it just... I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, greatest of all time, my ass. Like, George St. Pierre came back, won the belt, and then won the middleweight belt, vacated, and Dana fucking shit on him in the media. He shit on him in the media. He hated George for a while after that. George is one of the greatest fighters to ever do it. George was a massive star in the UFC during his prime, during his years there. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's crazy, The whole thing just makes no sense. Strip Jon Jones. All right. I'm done. Rant over.